Alright guys, I know it's been a while since I did a video, but with Christmas, work, everything like that, been very busy. This week what I'm doing is I am actually doing a combination hollow body Gamechanger style musky fly. It's about 10 inches long. It's all bucktail and thread, whole bunch of shanks. It takes about an hour. I mean, you're going to see the whole process of me doing it, other than when I shape the fly up some after the fact. I love this fly from Musky. I only put a single hook in it. It's a 5/0 hook, but they eat the thing. It swims like a real fish. It moves. It flutters. It is beautiful for that. When you jerk it, it flows in. Wrapping pushes water for a little bit. It's not that heavy either. It's just not hard to cast it for hours. Okay? And when you're casting 10 weights, that's a hard thing to do. This fly is light, but it pushes water. It causes action. It gets their attention, and they want to eat it. And they eat the whole thing. They don't come up and nip at the tail. They take the whole thing in their mouth. And it doesn't matter if it's 40 inches, 24 inches. They're going to eat the whole thing. And it's awesome for that. So let's get into the video. Let you see what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so what we're going to start doing is we're going to be working on a musky size Gamechanger. So I'm going to be using a lot of bucktail. But these things are great. They have a lot of beautiful movement in the water. They catch big fish. So definitely want to have you some of these. They are just a time-consuming fly to tie, but they are a lot of fun to fish, so they're well worth it. So now, get hold of my feather, my thread, and we'll get started here. Now, when you're tying these bucktail, when you're tying anything with bucktail in it, you want to go with a heavier thread. So I usually go with at least a 3/0, if not bigger. In this case, so it's a mess in here. I do believe that Christmas threw up in my office and has made it very hard for me to tie. So I'm going with an actual Danville 3/0. I've found it works quite well for me on these. It's made for this heavier stuff, so we definitely want to go with something like that. So I'm just going to thread it on here. And I've already got this shank in here, and this is just going to be my rear shank. So it's going to start by putting a few wraps in here. And snipping that off. Now I'm actually going to be tying this with mostly white. And then when I get to the end, I'll decide what color head I want on it. Just going to start putting a little bit of white on the back. Get myself started. So I trim that out. Clean it out a little bit. And then what I always do, whenever I'm fooling with bucktail, I always take just and run a comb through it just to get that under fur that might prop up in there out. Okay. And I'll just trim it off kind of even. As you can see right here, looking at it, you can see it's kind of all sticking up and everything. I just trim that off so it's all even across through there. And I just come in line it up, kind of press it so it'll end up around it. Let's make some nice light wraps around through there, and then go back and tighten it down a little bit, and then back forward. And this is your tail. So it's going to flare out a lot more. I'm fine with that because if you know, fin on a fish pops out, it's going to give this thing a little whip motion here. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. Cover that up. And just going to whip finish it. Okay. Now, that is your back shank, your tail shank done. That's it. Now, I'm going to move up. And because these are going to end up being fairly long when it's said and done, I'm just going to go ahead, clip this next one in. I've found that it's a lot easier to do it when you have the previous shank in the vise. Still is not easy, but it's a little bit easier. Bend it out a little bit, get the slide in there. Then you take it loose, you just move it to the back, like so. It's got that in there. And we just do the same thing. Start thread in, get it going. Now, here's where you start changing things up a little bit, because you're not going to be doing what you normally do. From here, let's clean that out a little bit. Come up through here. And I'm kind of doing on this a little bit. It's kind of more of a, it's almost like a hollow body Gamechanger. I just got this metal straw here. You just push this back and over. Let it lay down. You get them all pushed back. Push it back with your fingers just to kind of help hold it there. Come forward. Then just make a thread dam right there. I'll just let that lay right back through there. A couple of strands of hair that kind of didn't get back for me, so trim them out of the way. Okay. Now, right into the next thing, just like before. We just kind of whip finish this. Tuck down. Now, go right back in with another 20mm shank here. Oops. Come loose on me, so. Put that back there just to. what I'm looking for whenever I'm tying one of these for muskie, I want to get out to about 10 or 11 inches. So what we're looking at is when we get back through here, as you can see, if you look at my vise here, if I can go from this to here, it gives me 7 inches. So when I'm done, I'm going to have this thing way out past this ruler, going all the way out to here, 10 inches long. Because when muskie are eating, they're going to eat something big. I catch 25-inch muskie on 10-inch baits. They can get them in their mouth. They're going to eat. So same deal. On we go. Put that out. What I do is I'm going up through there. As I'm working my way up, and with a little bit longer hair each time. So that way it gives my bodies a little bit more shape. And there's a lot of ways to make game changers. I like this little cross I do for these just because I think it works really well. Okay. Come about the middle of the shank. Loose wraps here, here, and here. Spread that around that shank real good. Pull it down here. Wrap it back to help tighten it down tight. Now, I'm not worried about getting all of this hair covered, because when this lays back on top of itself, it'll be hard to see it. Just push it back over, brush it through, pull all of it up and over here. Then just build that thread dam up again. I love when it does that. Trimmed out. Just gonna brush that back a little bit again. finish this in. So we're going to go with one more of these 20mm shanks. Then we'll up the size a little bit. Okay. There we go. Now, like I said, next one here, going just a little bit longer again. Now, I know this isn't a traditional changer for most people, and I get that. You know, I'm not going to do a lot of trimming and shaping, and not using a lot of body hair, you know, different things in there, but it has been very successful for me to do them this way. This thread dam built on this one. Okay, now, like I said, that was the last 20mm shank I'm going to put in there. I'm going to up this thing up to a 40mm shank for a few now. Yeah. My clip to kind of help hold this stuff up out of my way for a second. You can see there's a big difference in the length of these now. What we're going to do, this thread wrapped all the way up through here. Oh. We're going to put in 2 bunches because this is so long, a bucktail. We'll come up through here. And the reason for doing that is very simple. Because of the length of this shank, it's going to take a lot to cover it. But it's going to give us a lot right up here where we need it the most. So we're starting to get close to where the hook's going to be. Hold this back over it. Get this thread dam built up here some. There we go. Come forward about 2/3 up. So you can see how long this hair this is now getting. But what'll happen is once this is wet, of course, this will all fold down over it. But in the water, it's just going to undulate, open and close, open and close. Yeah, just going to tie this one in the same way. think I'm actually going to do with this one, because these shanks are so long, to get this one tied in, I want to come up right come in right about this spot here, and I'm just going to layer another layer in there. A little bit more in there, just because of how that is. And if you look down through there, you can see the difference in how much fuller the body gets as it's going up. There we go. Go. And there we go. Now we got 3 on there. I'll run our hands through that to kind of knock loose a few loose ones there. Now we'll whip finish. Guys, I'll tell you, my desk is a disaster normally, but with Christmas going on and so much, it's even worse right now. I've got things all over the place. I got to get this thing, I got to get straightened up. I got plenty of time to be doing over the next few months. Between getting ready for spring, getting ready for a few shows coming up, which you'll be able to find me at. I'll show you which ones here at the end of this video. Now what we want is one more of those big 40 millimeter shanks in there. Snip that in, put it around. Take that out of the way for a minute. And what I'll do is after I get this all tied up, I'll explain to you how to shape these up a little bit more. I mean, they're going to have a lot of this, but But lengthwise, let me get onto this shank here. That we're looking at something that is going out already into that shank to there. Gets us a little over 7 inches. So we're almost that length that we're talking about, because here's our hook. Let's see, that's going to be another 2 to 3 inches there on it. So we're looking at going this much farther. And what I'll do is I will take a small shank and actually tie in here like so and hook that to that. That way I've got this full length of this one here, and it's going to be out that far to get us that length that we need. So back to our bucktail, getting it ready, getting it all on there. All right. Okay. And just like the last shank, we're just going to do 3 sections here again. There we go. It's always fun fighting this bucktail back out of the way. Up here to about center. With another clump. And now up that first third. We got a lot going on here. Hold that. And my thread pulled completely through, so I'm going to rethread here. There we go. Get that in place. Away we go. Now, get our whip finish in. Like I said, I'm going to have this little guy right here, inserted right here to tie onto. That way, I'm not losing a lot of my length. You see, we're already getting a lot of movement out of this. We'll shape it up. Get a few different things going on here with it later. But that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a nice little snake through with that thing. Just here. Get our hook up here. Get our thread started. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So I've got that on there. You'll see the little eyelet that's there. It's going right in front of it. Stop that for just a second. Now we'll get our first chunk of bucktail for here. Put little light wraps just to hold it on there. Pull it tight and go back. And back forward to where you started at. Okay. Two little quick wraps again. We're starting to make the body as we get up into here a little fuller. put these clumps a little bit closer together than what we have been. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in one more clump with the white bucktail up here near the front. Pretty much right there. So you guys can see we're getting a lot of hair clumped onto this thing. I'll back this up a little bit so you can just see how full it really is. Okay, now we're up to where we're going to do the head, which I've literally the entire time I've been putting this together trying to decide what color I'm going to go with. But I am probably, I could just finish this out completely in white, throw me a red eye on, a couple eyes on there and be done with it. And it would look great. But I sometimes like putting the contrast on the front there just to give a little bit different look. And I think what I'm actually going to go with is black for the head. So I've got black bucktail here. Of course, it ain't going to be different than what I've been doing. Some a little bit longer fibers here. Okay. Trim out the little bit that's on top there. Give it a haircut. When you trim that out, you just basically give it a flat top so everything's even. Which I'm going to do a lot to try to fill this head up all the way out onto the end. The reason being is just because you want that thick head to move plenty of water when you're trying to attract these fish. Don't get me wrong, this thing's going to be a very attention-getting fly. But that head pushing that water really helps. That's evenly kind of spread around. Get a good tug to get it started. Just wrap a few here. Come back. Stroke all this stuff back here. Now, what we're looking at here is, like I said, got about 10 inches on this thing. Sorry, guys. Just threw you to the ground, didn't I? It's okay. We're getting ready to look at something here. So, see, you can get the black head on there. Just kind of stroke this back a little bit. So as you can see here, this thing is right at 10 inches long, full of bucktail and joints and everything else. And I know it does not look right now, but when you get this thing in the water, all that bucktail is going to fold down when you jerk on it, going to undulate out. It's going to move. It's going to swim as you're pulsating it through there. I'm probably going to go through, and what I'll do is I'll give it a treatment with run it under some hot water, which really does a lot for helping get that thing get that shape that you already want it at. And once I get that done, I'll bring a picture into that and give you guys a good look of it too. All right, guys, come out and catch me at the Maggie Valley Fly Fishing Festival on May 23rd through 24th in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And then after that, you're going to find me again at the Appalachian Fly Fishing Festival, May 30th through June 1st. Make sure you find both of these on Facebook. Follow them. Make sure you get out there. It'll be a great time at both of these. Please like and subscribe, and you guys have a good day.